Aloha! Welcome to a special new video that I am doing for you. I got this beautiful new deck and I've been wanting to share this kind of video with you for a while on what to do when you get a new deck, how to make it your own, how to put your energy on it, how to cleanse it, what to do with it, how to get started with a new deck. So this is what we're doing today. So first things first, I start, because this is what I do when I get a new deck. I like to light some sage to cleanse the deck with, because whether it's a brand new deck that you ordered online or whether you bought this, I like to set forest fires with my sage. So we light some sage and then we just sage the deck, sage the outside of the deck, and then we open her up and we admire the beautiful art on the inside, on the back of the deck. You can cleanse this part of the box as well. Then we have a little guidebook that most decks come with, and then we cleanse the actual cards with the deck, with the sage. All right. Get it all cleansed and saged, and then we can put the sage to the side. So yeah, most decks, this is an oracle deck. It's through Hay House. Louise Hay, we love her. Thank you, Louise, for creating this amazing publishing company. And yeah, look at this beautiful artwork. I love it. I've never heard of Heather Roan Robbins, but thank you for creating this beautiful deck. And so yeah, most decks usually come with a little guidebook that tells you about the cards. I'll have writings. Sometimes they have little exercises in the writings for the cards. It tells you a little bit about the intention behind creating this particular deck that you have, about the cards. Then there's usually some spreads that you could use if you are new to doing readings for yourself or for others. And yeah, they usually come with a little contents, which usually lists all the cards and where you can find them in the book. A little instruction how to use the cards for the readings, and like I said, it has the little spreads in there usually, and then it has information about the cards. So that's the guidebook, and we'll probably use that again a little later. So then once I gone ahead and saged the deck, I will knock 3 times. I like to give it a little shake, maybe blow on them while I do that, to just cleanse any energies. Even if it's a brand new deck, it was handled at the printers, it's been touched by a lot of hands before it gets to you. Even if it's completely brand new, it has other people's energy on it. So what I like to do is I like to touch each and every card of the deck and just put my energy onto each card to claim each card of the deck. So You can go ahead and do that however you want to do that. If you want to touch them with both hands and really like for a long time. For me, I feel okay if I just go through like this, just do a little rub down on each of the cards. Go ahead and speed this up. I mean, I've already done this with this deck. I couldn't wait before I made this video. So yeah, I just go through and touch each card, put your energy on the cards. That's what I do when I get a new deck. Now, since I've already used these for myself a little bit, all right, now they're yours. Yeah. Little peeks of the cards here. But yeah, you can just also hold them and put an intention into the deck, what you want to use it for, whether it's for personal use or whether you do readings for other people. Just putting a little intention into the deck of what you want to use it for and how you want to use the deck. And then you can give it a little shuffle. Mix them up. Most of the time, like I said, I've already used this deck. But most of the time, when you get a brand new deck, the cards will be in order as they are in the book. And this is how they came to. So it's always good to like give them a good shuffle. And however you want to shuffle, there's no right or wrong way to shuffle. These are my two preferred ways of shuffling, since these are still very new. They're very solid and don't really have much give yet. But the more you use your cards, the more they will soften and yeah. All right, so now that's pretty much what I do when I get a new deck. I'll sage it, I'll knock on it, I'll make sure I touch every card. I put an intention in the deck on how I want to use it. And yeah, and then I'll just go ahead and use it and pull a card. So let's see, can we get a card to practice with? If this is a completely new deck to you, or you are completely new to doing readings using cards, that's a lot of cards. Can we just get one card? It's always, yeah, a good idea to just start with one card to get used to the deck. Okay, let's see here. This is two cards. We got Jupiter and Abundance and Debilitated Discomfort. And then personally, I also always like to check what's on the bottom of a deck for like an overall energy. I kind of do love this. So yeah, and since this is a brand new deck, you would get out your trusty little guidebook to get to know the cards a little bit. If you are an experienced reader, you can, it's up to you whether you want to use the deck or not. You can, it depends on the deck. Not every deck is good for just reading by the image. It depends on who created the deck and how much the imagery is actually translating what the card is supposed to say. But let's have a look here. So we have the numbers in the top corner. If you're into numerology, you can use the numbers. We have the 23, which that's funny because I was born on the 23rd. But also the 2 and the 3 makes 5. And then we have the sign on the top here, the sign for Jupiter. And then it says here the name of the planet that the card is for, and then it has a little association with what the meaning behind, the overall meaning behind the cards. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, and you can see in the picture all this abundance. We have the planet Jupiter, and then we've got a bunch of food and wine, the grapes and all that. And yeah, again, we have the number here in the corner. The debilitated is the main theme of the cards, and then the overall meaning behind it, discomfort with when planets are debilitated. This is an astrology deck, so yeah, and then same for the Pluto. We have the 27, the logo, the sign for Pluto, and then it says Pluto and rebirth, which Pluto is the planet of rebirth. Yeah, so let's have a look. Number 23 for Pluto. So if you're completely brand new, you'll go and you look up the cards in the deck. And so every deck and every guidebook is different. In this guidebook, each card has like 2 pages of text. There is a little action, a challenge, and a gift part to each card, and then a little overall explanation of what the planet or the sign or the debilitation aspects are. So it says here, Jupiter symbolizes how we expand our world through education, law, philosophy, travel, abundance, and an expansive spirit. Jupiter, the traditional ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces, is a huge gas giant, 2.5 times the volume of all the other planets put together. It takes 12 years to circle the zodiac, spending roughly 1 year in each sign. Named for the ruler of all the gods and surrounded by 79 known moons. Jupiter never does anything in small proportions. So yeah, for this deck, each card has a little bit about either the planet or the sign. For the debilitated part, it has for the different aspects. It says if you put a well-organized city dweller deep in the wild woods, they'd be accidentally debilitated out of their element and pushed to live up to their potential. They may be uncomfortable, but the situation offers a chance to stretch further and develop their soul. The same goes for the planet in a sign or placement that is awkward with its nature. For example, Mercury is the least mercurial when it's in Pisces, opposite the sign Virgo, which it rules. Here, Mercury can bestow a great mind, but in an intuitive, integrated, imaginative way, not a mind to escape in pure intellectual pursuit. So yeah, so it has like a little bit about what each thing means before it actually goes into the reading of the cards. So for Jupiter, let's continue with this little reading here. For Jupiter, it says, think bigger. So the action part, think bigger. This scenario requires you to be expansive and forgiving. Deal with it in a spacious, curious, fair and philosophical way. Think globally. Bring in contribution from all around the world. Consider traveling physically or traveling with your senses by listening to music from a less familiar culture or tasting their food. Talk to people who grew up in a circumstance foreign to you and get their viewpoint. Diversify your perspectives and that of your team to discover the missing pieces needed to make up a larger whole. Engage in an abundant optimism. Get the world out through generosity. Give abundantly and goodwill comes back to you. Invest in education, publication, and broadcasting. Just be careful that your generosity is actually helping the recipient, not enabling or burdening them. Ask what would really help. Jupiter's energy needs a big room and an audience, but it can overshadow important people in more intimate circumstances. Watch that your expansive capacity does not cramp the experimentation or beginners or crowd beloved introverts. Notice when you might overwhelm the people you love and give them room for their more subtle style. If you are the one being so overwhelmed, appreciate your own value. Expand in ways that work for you and let the person with Jupiter energy do their thing. And then it has a little challenge part. Jupiter can bring too much of a good thing or leave people feeling overwhelmed. Watch out for magical thinking and a Pollyanna avoidance of problems. And the gift, give and you shall receive. Jupiter calls you to expand your worldview. So reach out and feel at one with the whole universe. I love that. How divine. And I love these cards. They're so pretty. I'm not sure if these are AI generated images or not, but I just think they're beautiful. And I'm excited to dive deeper into astrology, to get a deeper understanding of astrology. That was one of my reasons for getting this deck. And all right, let's see the debilitated. The action, let's see here. This time you are the invaluable sidekick. This is not your game, but you have a lot to contribute nonetheless, and the long-term benefits will be worth your efforts. Learn and listen rather than assert yourself and your opinions. Use your strength and leadership skills to support and center another person or project. Pass the ball to someone who is in position to run with it. Back up a leader, do the work behind the scenes, and bolster the team. If you're not ready to do this work, you can pass that ball and leave the field. But consider redefining your idea of success. Stay here and you can grow needed skills, expand your repertoire and contracts, and build up trust among others who can help you in the future. Everything you learn, all the contracts you make, prepare you for when it is your turn. I love that. And in case you're hearing some shredding in the background, my Lani girl is shredding a paper ball. She loves shredding things. And the challenge with the debilitated card is whether you are an artist among the engineers or a linebacker among the ballerinas, you may struggle to apply your talents in this situation. In these moments, it's easy to slip into self-pity and self-doubt. And then the gift, you're being challenged to grow in ways you can't predict. You're being asked to diversify, stretch, and strengthen your weak muscles. Only you can decide if it's time to take that challenge. But this experience also encourages you to love yourself in the quiet moments and to appreciate what you bring to the table even when nobody else notices. I love that. And this is like so fitting for where I'm at right now. And I trust that these cards, these messages are fitting for where you are as well. Okay, now bringing it all together with Pluto, the planet of rebirth. Let's see here. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio and is a powerful planetoid that takes 248 years to traverse the zodiac. Pluto and Charon, the largest of its 5 moons, circle each other and create a binary system. Most myths connected to Pluto, god of the underworld, have 2 major characters: the one who descends into the underworld to return reborn, and then one who either sends souls down to the underworld or greets them on arrival. From Pluto and Prosperina to Seth and Osiris and Inanna and Erishigal, both sides of the myths, the use and abuse of power, and the willingness to be reborn again into their empowered divine self, describe Pluto's influence. Pluto was also Lord of mining, retrieving valuables from deep within the earth. All right, learn some more about Pluto. The action part for Pluto. Pluto calls for 3 actions. First, to dig deep. Second, to be willing to transform. And third, to use power wisely. Pluto calls you to drill down, dig deep, dig up what is worthy and bring it to the surface. Then rinse away the dirt and uncover the gold. Bring up riches whenever you dig deep into your soul's work. Notice obsessions and neuroses. These signs of stress must be listened to and healed, but don't allow them to control you. Pluto reminds you that you can't hold on to the past, but you can take care of yourself. To begin this work, you may have to let go of an old form, as a caterpillar must become a butterfly. Mourn what you've left behind, then get curious about what is about to arrive. Examine the power dynamics of this situation. Neither give yours away or misuse your power over others. Step out of a power struggle and into self-empowerment. And the challenge for Pluto's shadow side can bring up obsession, depression, mortality, and grief. Pluto plays heart balls, so get a guide for this realm if needed. The spiritual gift of Pluto asks you in the face of life and death, why are you here? This isn't a rhetorical question. Strip down to the essentials and come back to what really matters to find the answer. Oh my goodness, yes, I am obsessed. So, yes, so that's that. And so, yeah, just choosing 1 or 2 cards. And you can pick the cards however you want. You can shuffle them until they pop out. That's usually how I get my cards. But you could also just shuffle your deck a few times. And then if you want, you can cut it once or twice and then put them back together and then just pull one from the top. And if you're completely new to reading, just working with 1 card at a time is great to really get to know your deck. And again, you can use the guidebook if you really want to tune into your psychic abilities and your reading abilities. You can, again, depending on the artwork, not all cards, like I said, have artwork that are actually descriptive of what the message in the cards from the card is. Most of them do. But yeah, like look at the card. What do you see? What pops out for you? And then also, like, over time, the more you work with your cards and the more you strengthen your ability to read cards and to tune into your psychic senses and receive messages from the other side, you'll be able to see more and more in the cards. And all of a sudden you'd be like, oh my gosh, I never noticed that part before, and I never noticed this before, and you like be able to see deeper into things. So like starting with 1 card at a time, to really getting to know your cards. And you can you can like pull a card for the day, or you can pull a card for a certain, like a full moon cycle, a new moon cycle, like whatever you feel called to. If you want to, you can work with the spreads that are recommended in the booklet. There's usually there's always like at least one spread that is recommended in the deck. So if you want, you can totally just like follow the instructions in the book on what to do with the spreads and how to read them and all that. And yeah, you could also just read through the cards like this. I've never really done it that way, where I like grab each card and like sit here and read about every card before I like use them. I usually just yeah, cleanse it, make sure I touch every card, put my energy on it, make sure this deck is mine and cleansed from any outside energies. And then I start working with it. I start shuffling it. I ask questions and receive cards. And that's how I get to know my decks. The more I use them, the more I get obviously different cards and get to know the different cards and all that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you found this helpful. And yeah, if you're interested in a reading from me, you can click in the description. My booking link is in there for personal readings and other sessions that I offer. I also have a shop where I sell jewelry that I create, also linked below. And yes, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I'm sending you much love. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Aloha!